Hello, this is Hard Chatter, and today I have an audio I want you to listen to, and I really, really want you to have a very open mind about this, okay? And this is from a young man whose brother called him about a prophetic dream that he had about the United States. I want you to listen to it and listen to it good, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it, okay?
So today is Tuesday, November 18th, and it is about 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock in the morning. And I got a message from my brother that he had a dream that was very, very interesting, and I tell you why in a little bit. But I would like to read the dream. It's a very chaotic and catastrophic dream about judgment on America. Let me read. It says, in the dream, I was at the kitchen washing a cup when all of a sudden I started to float and was taken up high enough to see the entirety of the USA. I then was taken to Manhattan, where I descended low enough to see many people walking in the streets and people in their office working. It was a normal day, everything was fine. All of a sudden I looked towards the ocean and saw a large missile coming out of the water in extreme high speed. I could see some people looking out the window, and instantaneously their eyes were melted. I was immediately taken to a higher altitude to see the impact of the missile. When it hit Manhattan, it was dead on. I could see a large ball of fire growing rapidly horizontally, and people were evaporating in the buildings, melting. After that, I was taken to Florida. The city looked like it was Miami. I was taken this time to the beach and was floating very low, almost touching the sand. I could see many people at the beach. I could see the city, the beautiful buildings behind the people in the beach. I could also see people in their offices working, also just like in Manhattan. Again, just a normal day. But again, I saw a large missile coming out of the ocean extremely fast. And once again, as it came up, it came down on the beach, right where the water reached the dry sand and right in front of me. I was taken up again and could see a large ball of fire spreading horizontally and consuming everything. Since the missile hit the beach, that ball of fire went towards the ocean and destroyed many boats and large ships. I also saw a large wave push towards the ocean due to the explosion. Once again, I was taken to a very high altitude that I could see the entire USA in the Pacific Ocean. Out of the Pacific Ocean, 4 large missiles came out. They hit California, Washington, New Mexico, and Illinois. I saw the large balls of fire again, and they consumed everything. As these 4 missiles hit the areas, I mentioned that's when I heard a voice. The voice said to me, I'm showing these things because America's Judgment Day will be happening very soon. I'm going to destroy her, but the ones that are mine, I will spare their lives. Instantly, I was in the wilderness. I was no longer floating. I could see many trees and some clearance in the skies as well. Suddenly, a wall of fire came down, encircled the whole forest, and then I was it was a roof of fire, came down and sealed us in there, protecting us from destruction. And that's how the dream ended. It's interesting that
Now, look, I've heard of a lot of prophetic dreams, and I am not one to tell you to look to psychics about the future, okay? But I do believe strongly that Jesus and God, whoever you believe in, will come to you in a dream. And it's very alarming, and especially with what we have going on in the United States right now and abroad. I have to keep in mind to remind you that Trump is doing things that, even when he's gone, cannot be undone. I hope you understand what I'm saying. The United States has a lot of blood on their hands. They just attacked a Venezuelan ship about drugs coming into the United States, which, statistics tell us that wasn't even a threat, okay? And then when the boat was taken down, there was an order to kill everybody. Everybody, okay? What he is doing is he's getting ready to start some war crimes. And he's getting ready to tick a lot of people off, and they're gonna come and attack, and we're gonna be in the middle of all that. And I can see that coming. Okay? I really can. I had a dream when I was in my 20s, and I never shared it. So listen to me clearly. I was in a town, and I remember these beautiful, like, yellow houses, and they were made of stones. It was painted, yellow. And the only real thing I really remember about that dream that it shook me is I heard a horn. It was loud, and it was so loud, I remember it shook me. And it makes me think about the horns of Jericho, the biblical sense of it all. You have to understand, a man cannot go around murdering people and calling for the murder of people, and innocent women and children getting killed and stuff, and nothing happens. There are like real life consequences. Another thing I want to point out is we have the time to go and mess with Venezuela. But have you seen Sudan? People, it is an ethnic cleansing going on in Sudan. It got the attention in the media because it was seen from space, right? And space, when you get videos and stuff from space, you kind of analyze them and stuff. Well, Sudan, there's nothing but red patches, just blood everywhere. And I'm talking about women and children being lined up, and I've seen executions. Do not go down that road. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do not go looking that up. I'm telling you what it is. Okay? Okay? It mimics Hitler. Okay? I'm talking about bodies laying bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies. But we can't help them. We have no time to go in and help the beautiful people there, being killed off in Sudan. And my heart and my prayers goes off to Sudan, because nobody should have to go through that. Nobody. And what they're doing is they're lining up dark people and they're ethnic cleansing them. That is the most horrible thing I've heard this week. And you kind of go, okay, how bad can it get? That's pretty freaking bad. People, that's horrible. I remember hearing Sting say one time, he said, Russia loved their children too. I feel that. I really do. I really, really do. I wish I could sit here and tell you in all of my 47 years of living that it's going to get better. But I'll be very, 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 very frank and very honest with you. Even when Trump gets out of office, the things that he is doing, the people that he is hurting, the lives that he has, lost, it will still, the brunt of it, we will suffer under the brunt of it. And United States, please do not sit on your ass and be laughing at these other countries going through this ethnic cleansing and this death and stuff, because guess what? It can happen to us too. And if this dream that this man just said didn't prove anything, that is the most scariest thing I've heard. But I've also heard rumors in the little net world and around the world and from my forefathers that guess what? The next war is going to start from the freaking water. Okay? Yeah, let that sit with you. Another thing I came across today is a colleague, hit me up and said everybody needs to have their visas. Everybody needs to get their paperwork together and shit, and was advising that people need to find somewhere else to go because the shit's getting ready to hit the fan. And it's going to be fast. Okay? So, I don't know what you need to hear to prove that Trump is a tyrant. Okay? And he is almost as bad. He's as bad as Hitler. But that's the mental way that he's going. So, and there's also rumors that Trump doesn't want black people in America. That he's going to make African Americans prove their citizenship. So what is the real end deal here? Pay attention. Okay? Right now, I'm sorry to say this, but right now is not a time to have your head in the ground about politics. Everyone should get up in the mornings and watch a little bit of CNN to know what the hell is going on. Okay? I hate when I talk to young people and I ask them about the world events going in the world, and they tell me, I don't listen to that. I don't study that. That has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. It has everything to do with you right now. Okay? So like I said, until the next time, this is Horror Chatter. I advise you pray and just be sane, but just keep your eyes open on what's going on. That's all. So until the next time, this is Horror Chatter, and I thank you so much for listening.